Hey guys, how you doing? It's the Realslimshady here again, with a game from a map that I haven't played for a while, and it's Sturzdorf. And the guy I'm playing against his name is alex05022001, which I assume is his date of birth, the 5th of February 2001. Um, I played a game before this on Angleville and I won, and the reason I'm not posting it is because it's 7 minutes long. I capped all the territory within the first few minutes because the guy he lost like the initial engagement and he just dropped. Um, and anyway, this is my second game of the evening, and it's also my last auto match rank game because after this I'll be playing some casual games with a friend. Who is also going to be watching this video when it's published. So, um, anyway, Alex here is playing as Wehrmacht in Sturzdorf. Sturzdorf is, I would say, very Wehrmacht favorite map. I kind of have a feeling that Wehrmacht does better than the allies in maps that have like a lot of that are urban in a way. And I don't just mean the fact that you can take buildings and keep them as machine gun spots, but just the fact that you have so many 90-degree angles somehow favors Wehrmacht. Allies, general, especially the United States, tend to play better at more open maps such as Angleville, and it's something I believe I spoke about the last time I played on Angleville. But anyway, this game is on Sturzdorf. I'm starting out with the Jeep as sorry, I kind of feel that this is too loud for you guys, not for me. Um, I'm starting out with the Jeep as usual. I've been kind of trying to develop my Jeep strategy lately, and I kind of use it less to just push engineers or pioneers rather around in early game, and I started trying to use it more to deliver like the first tiny blow to Volksgrenadiers, because if the Volksgrenadiers are focused on, let's say for example, an engineer unit, and you come from the side and hit him with the Jeep, he can take away like 10% health, I think, within a reasonable amount of time. So when your riflemen come in, which mine are about to do, the job is that much easier for them. And you can tell right away, if you take a look at these Volksgrenadier here, that they're already on 80% health, and my riflemen have been in the fight for literally just a few seconds, because the Jeep kind of already opened that can of worms, right? So now the job is that much easier for the riflemen, and I feel like this first engagement is very important in every game, and this first engagement for my rifleman is going to be much easier, even though what he's doing here is really smart, because this is I don't know if you can tell. I think I have to. No, I can't show you this right now, but this is green cover because it's behind a vehicle, and he's in much better cover than my guys who are in yellow cover. Um, so he's definitely, his guys are going to last longer, but ultimately this is a losing engagement for him because even though he did do quite a lot of attritional damage to my guys, no, actually, I'm losing the engagement. I had to drop. I can't believe this. I thought that I won this engagement. I'm so sorry, but this guy's basically 0% health. I have no idea how he survived that. That is extremely lucky for him. Look at him. He's on 0% health. But yeah. Anyway, this engineer is gonna die. Yeah, this pioneer is dead. But anyway, there was an interesting exchange, I would say. And while that was happening, my engineers were capping all of this, and now they're capping this, and they're going to try to cap this. I lost my Jeep just now because he walked into that MG42 fire, and I'm not going to get into. I'm not going to start glazing the the MG42 again the way I did it the last time. um, but I am going to follow it a bit because I want to show you what it looks like from the MG's perspective, because my riflemen they're preparing a flank. They're going to capture this because I kind of assumed that I kind of assumed that the NG was aimed at this general area, and my rifleman came in from the back for the simplest of flanks, really. And as you can tell, it worked. But the MG is once again going to make it out alive, just like the Volksgrenadiers before. I have no idea how he keeps doing that, but this is the second time in the first less than 5 minutes have passed since the beginning of the game, and he has now twice escaped certain death with 2 units by literally a thread. Because this MG, just like the Volksgrenadier before, has 5% health. But yeah. At this point in the game, my main priority is tech up to get bars. Because I'm winning this engagement with infantry alone, these engagements with infantry alone, but if I can get bars, then I can really start winning engagements more easily. I caught these guys lacking, they were sleeping here. He was too focused on this to realize that I'm attacking with my engineers here. So he's gonna lose that engineer squad, although my engineer squad isn't gonna fare too much better either. I'm also gonna lose a couple of guys. There you go. But yeah, it is what it is. So these are just 2 idiots shooting each other right now. But anyway, this building is very important in Sturzdorf. It kind of controls this entire field here, because if you put a machine gun in this building, it can control everything around it. So it's a pretty big deal. And I went early supply yard. You're probably wondering why. It's because very early in the game I captured this and this and this, and this is plus 16 fuel. I'm capturing this right now, which is plus 10 or plus 16. What is it? Oh, it's medium, so it's plus 10. But anyway, it's definitely a lot of early fuel, and I thought, if I have that early fuel advantage, why not use it and get a quick M8? By the way, the reason he's not firing at me right now is because my guys are behind this pile of wood right here. So if you can see it from his perspective, he actually can't. He knows that my guys are there, but he can't fire, so they're not suppressed. And I left them there on purpose. You might be wondering why am I keeping them there? There's only 4 guys. They're on like 40% health, and it's not like I can do anything. I'm keeping them there as bait for the machine gun, essentially, because a flank is coming from this side, and this is something that I talked about on this channel before, but machine guns, both American and German machine guns, are pretty easy to take out, even if you don't have grenades. And I'm sorry for the constant pauses in my speech, but it's happening because I ate an ungodly number of tortillas, and I'm kind of very silently burping, and I don't want to be disgusting and burping the microphone, so I have to do it subtly, and those are those are the pauses you're hearing. But anyway, if you don't have grenades and you don't have artillery or armor, the simplest way to take out a machine gun, which has to be your priority in this situation, because as long as this machine gun is anywhere here, nobody is progressing in this area. And the simplest way to do it is to use one rifleman or even an engineer squad. You can use it as bait and essentially draw fire in that direction, and then use an overwhelming force from the other direction. And even if he physically takes control of the machine gun and presses, for example, on these guys here who are supposed to be flanking, then you can just attack them with the guys who were fired upon in the first place. And this is essentially the simplest way to take out machine guns in the game, provided that you don't already have armor or grenades. So simple infantry squads, as you can tell right now. He was so hyper-focused on these guys, who were once again hidden behind this block of wood, that he completely lost focus of me coming at him from this direction, and it was way too late when he finally realized what was happening. And once again, he's going to retreat, he's not going to die, but that's a successful attack from my perspective, because I caused him to retreat. I had a lot of manpower, which is why I built this observation post, because I really like off-map artillery in Company of Heroes. It's probably one of my favorite abilities from the doctrinal tree of both the United States and Wehrmacht, and I would need a lot of munitions to use that, which is why I went early observation post on that post. But anyway, he went with an early half-track, which is something a lot of people seem to be doing recently. And at the same time, these guys did a very good job. They decapped this, and they now decapped this victory point. And if we pull out the big map, you can see that this strategic point that which he just decapped with this Volksgrenadier squad is very important, because I don't get any of this. I don't get 16 fuel, and I don't get 5 munitions because it's disconnected from the rest of my base. So if you're playing in the north, the easiest way to kind of fuck your player in the south over is by disconnecting this. And pretty much the same thing can be said for this point here. For the play, so if you're playing in the south, and this is something that I'm going to try to do in this game, you're going to see, is if you disconnect this, he's not going to get anything here. Or even if you disconnect this, the same thing can be said. And the same thing can be said for this point, right? That this is this strategic point here. It's difficult to decap, but if you manage to do it, the player in the north is completely cut off from everything. And this is something that I've also spoken about when playing Gangoville. I showed you guys the most important strategic points for you to decap there. So yeah, I put this squad in the house here, in the central house, mostly just because I didn't want him to put his MG42 there. This squad is pretty useless here, I have to say, but at least it's preventing his MG42 from using the house as their kind of central base of operations for this area here. So at least I got that going for me in this moment. Anyways, you can tell he's now capping everything here. He's doing a really good job, but I had so much fuel and so much munitions in the early game that I'm not too worried about it. I wasn't, I mean, during the game, I'm too worried about it. I assumed I would recap it later. And I already had my supply yard, and I was just waiting on enough fuel to build my motor pool. But this half-track you're about to see is going to prove its worth. And I truly mean that, because it is not... It's pretty impervious to gunfire. It lasts a much longer time than an armored car, for example. And I almost lose an infantry squad right there. I don't have stickies yet, so I can't do much about it. And I tried just drawing attention to these guys so my engineers could build this observation post, but as you're about to see, my engineers are about to get wiped the hell out. And the observation post is destroyed, and that's 200 manpower I'm not going to be able to get back. So I should have quit that while I was ahead. And obviously, when I try to go in with these guys, I know that the attack is going to fail. I know that there's no chance. And he has a back out. I didn't know that during the game, I have to admit. But anyway, while this was happening, my logic was, well, okay, he has an overwhelming force right here because he had this half-track which was going to get repaired. The half-track was manned by these pioneers. When you have a pioneer in the half-track, he uses the MG42. It's not the MG42, but it's some sort of heavy machine gun. But it's quite as effective, just as much as the MG42. He has an MG42, speaking of, and he has Volksgrenadiers, and I just thought, okay, well, you know what, I kind of tried applying real-life military tactics on this. If left, and this is the left side of the map, obviously, if left is fucked, then we go right. There's really pretty much nothing else to do for me here. I currently can't attack on this side, so let's just, move to another portion of the map and try to re-establish control over this area here, maybe even try to penetrate here, and then once I have enough resources, maybe even armor, I'm going to return to the left. And I know that he's going to cap everything in the meantime. And during this part of the game, as you can tell, I still don't have off-map howitzer, off-map artillery. And I wanted to drop. I had twice the necessary amount of munitions to drop off-map RT on this half-track here, and it was so close. I needed 2 points to unlock it, and I was so close to getting 2 points. But he's gonna cap this, and I'm gonna lose visibility just as I get off map artillery, and I won't be able to launch it just now when he's expecting it the least. So I was kind of bummed out about that. But one thing I was kind of concerned, and now I have off map artillery. One thing I was kind of concerned, if you take a look at my fuel rate, it's very bad because I lost because in just like less than 2 minutes I lost this fuel, I lost this fuel, and I lost this fuel right here. And all I was left with was this. And the +5 fuel rate which you get from your base. So this was pretty bad for me because I had early game I had very much I had I wanted to say very much fuel, which doesn't make a lot of sense in English. I had a lot of fuel, so much so that I built an early supply yard, and I wanted to go early M8. However, after building the supply yard, my fuel rate went down because Alex did pull a really good maneuver here. And I had to build, which I'm building it right now, a trier center, which costs another 20 fuel. I had to get BARs, I had to get stickies to deal with this thing right here. And I thought honestly that he would come out with with an early Panzer IV or something like that. Either way, I spent fuel and everything that I needed to spend it on, and in the meantime I lost the points. So now I couldn't build a what do you call it? I honestly don't recall the word. This thing right here, from which you can get the M8. But anyway, as I said, if left is fucked, we go right. And this was the right call to make because just as my guys got into this area here, he jumped my engineers with his Vet 1 Volksgrenadiers, and my guys, 2 foreman squads with BARs, were close enough to play a role in that situation and to repel these guys. And in my mind, that meant that my decision making was right. And just as I'm pressing these guys here, and they have to either die or retreat, they're definitely not going to win against 8 riflemen with BARs. I'm dropping. I got my guys close enough just to recon for forward artillery, for off-map artillery, and I'm going to drop it on this very annoying half track right here. And the first strike is not going to hit. The second's not going to hit either, apparently, but the third one is a direct hit, and the fourth one destroys it. And this pack is very lucky to be alive. So are these engineers. And the reason he's not retreating was because he was hyper-focused on this engagement here, which he lost. I don't know why, but he lost that Vet 1 Volksgrenadier squad. He thought they could last in this building against my guys, but they just killed 1 infantryman per unit, and that's it. So he lost a full Volksgrenadier squad here, which he should have retreated. And I thought, you know what the hell? I'm assuming that right side is open right now, and I can just push forward, and I can take this for myself, and I can decap this and cut off this munitions point, which was, as you're about to see, right reasoning. And obviously the trier center here is finished. These guys are getting healed up. Also, they got reinforced. And right now, my main, like, what I wanted to do was I just really, really want to get that goddamn M8 into the fight. And since I had so much munitions, and I still do have a great munitions rate, I decided to drop another one right here. And I completely wiped that squad. Once again, I think he was focused on doing something with these Volksgrenadiers, and he was too focused on positioning or repositioning this MG42 that he just kind of didn't see it. I have 2 comments to make here. First of all, this is completely disconnected from this artillery hit right here. But this is generally a very important game artillery-wise, because artillery has so far been used twice to fantastic effect. Because in that first engagement, it destroyed the half-track, it killed a pioneer squad, and at the same time, his guys here were dying because he was either distracted by the artillery or he was distracted by the guys here dying, and that's why he didn't see the artillery. The second thing I wanted to say is that I don't know what this pack is doing so far forward. Packs have a much better range. German packs have a much better range than American anti-tank guns, and even American anti-tank guns shouldn't be this far forward. In my opinion, I would put it back here, right? I would put it back somewhere around the Jeep. You see it here. I would put it back there, and even so, I would put it on this road so I can just retreat it into the base if I'm attacked. Because if you put it right here, it can hit as far as this line here, for example. So there's absolutely no reason for you, Alex, if you're watching this, to keep it this far forward, because the only thing you're achieving is you can hit a vehicle of mine if it pops out right here. But that doesn't mean too much because I'm just gonna go back, I'm gonna repair it, and I'm gonna go around, right? Um, and so you're not achieving too much, but at the same time, you're keeping it so close to the MG42, you're keeping it so close to this generally dense area of battle that you're kind of risking that I'm going to drop artillery on you at some point. For the record, during the game, I did not know that this pack was here. So I could have dropped RT on it at any point by accident, and I would have accidentally destroyed it. And you can't give me that opportunity to do that. So, just in my opinion, usually for playing on Sturzdorf here, this is also very early game, so there have been no tanks so far. It's very, very risky for you to keep a pack or any type of anti-tank gun, doesn't matter, this far ahead. There's just no reason. Just put it like right here, and it's good. And another thing that I just remembered that I wanted to say when it comes to off-map artillery, and this includes both, this kind of applies to both American and British and Panzer Elite and Wehrmacht players, to all of these types of players, I meant to say, is that when an enemy drops orders, I should say so, a call for fire for off-map artillery. A call for fire is the technical military term for ordering an artillery to be dropped somewhere, the way this artillery is dropping right here. So when those red flares drop, you can hear it. I don't know if you're using headphones or a speaker, but it shouldn't really matter. Wherever you are on the map, let's say that you're doing something here in your base, and I drop that call for fire here. Just before the bombs start dropping, even if you're here, even if your focus is here, you're going to hear an announcement of some sort. And if you look for it, you can find it and you can retreat your soldiers before the bombs start dropping. And this is not a very complex technique. It's something I do. It's something a bunch of noob players do. You don't have to be the best of the best to learn how to keep an ear open, let's say it like that. Keep an ear open for artillery being ordered on your men. So just make sure that whatever you're doing, you're always ready to retreat your men, because you just lost on two combined artillery attacks. You lost three pretty valuable, even four, I could say, including the pioneers, valuable units, two of which to artillery and two of which to gunfire. So actually, three of those four to artillery and one of them to gunfire. So just make sure to keep an ear out, so to say, for the sound of artillery being called on your units. I don't think I'm gonna drop any more off-map RD during this game, but if I think I am gonna do it, I'm going to switch to Alex's point of view so I can show you what it sounds like when a US player calls for artillery against you, in case you don't know it. But even if you're like somewhere here, the announcement of that artillery coming down is so obvious that I find it really difficult to believe that you didn't hear that. I think it's likely that you weren't paying attention, and that's the reason your guys died. You definitely heard it. You just probably didn't even realize what you were hearing when you heard it. But anyway, these guys are here now. I have no idea what they're doing, honestly. I think I was just trying to test the waters. I wasn't doing anything special. I'm treating them as soon as possible. I don't want to take any damage. These guys are taking this field spot. I assume they're going to take this too. These guys are going to take this. These guys are capping this just so they could, as you can tell, decap everything here. These guys are also retreating because, as you can see, they're on low health, and this is a mistake of mine that I'm very, very lucky not to lose the game over. I wasn't really thinking about the retreat path when I pressed the retreat button, and it led my soldiers, who are very low in health, as you can tell, straight through this double vet Volksgrenadier squad, who even blocked them in. And I kind of realized what was happening around this point, when they were right here. And I had these two squads pretty much ready to go, and I pushed them forward right about here just so they could draw the attention of these Volksgrenadiers as quick as possible, and to have just essentially force these Volksgrenadiers to start firing upon these fully healthy guys instead of these guys who are just now retreating and they're on very low health. In case you didn't know, and I assume you know this, but I just want to say this in case you're a total noob and you don't know it. The units in this game, the way they prioritize the targets they open fire upon is usually by proximity. So units like the Volksgrenadiers and these riflemen, they're going to open fire on whatever's closest to them. So in this situation, the moment these guys... Wait, they have to get closer for me to show you. And this guy's super lucky to be alive. So the moment these guys right here are closer to the Volksgrenadiers than this guy is, the Volksgrenadiers are going to automatically stop firing on this guy, and they're going to open fire on these guys here. However, you can focus fire. That's what it's called. When you take a unit and you right click on an enemy unit, that's a command to that unit to only open fire in that unit. Like, ignore everyone else, no matter how close they might be, and just open fire on that single unit. And in this case, I don't think he focused fired on this guy, because if he had, he would die, and he's about to survive, as you're about to see. And completely by accident, it looks like I made a trap for these double vet Volksgrenadiers because they were trying to take out two squads, and I would do the same thing in his place. I think this is a completely valid attempt on his part, and he was met by two fully healed, fully reinforced BAR armed rifleman squads, and that was very unlucky for him. It looks like a really, really good trap, but it's really not. It's improvisation more than anything. And also, once again, he escapes barely alive, just like these guys here, I have to admit. But anyway, this wasn't a trap, it was just improvisation from me. I turned it into a trap at the very last moment. I wasn't planning on it. I'm not that sort of a mastermind. And I finally have my motor pool. That's the word I couldn't remember earlier. I finally have my motor pool, and I want to get my M8 out because I know that the machine gun and the hat track are vulnerable to the M8. Once again, I didn't know that he had a pack on the field. If I had known that, I wouldn't have gotten the M8 that early on. And now I can tell that I have enough munitions. I really am not sure if I'm going to drop the op-map party on him again, but in case I do, I'm going to switch to Alex's POV. And I'm going to keep an ear out, as I said, for that sound, so I can point it out. Because it kind of seems like I am going to try to drop it now or something, because this is an attack in which it would make sense. And I'm now on purpose going to move the camera away from here because the sound follows the camera. I'm going to move the camera away from here. I'm gonna go like here or something, and I'm gonna check out the sound. Now I don't know if you heard that. As I said, I accidentally, I don't know if you can see it, I accidentally destroyed your pack, Alex. When I dropped this arty, I did not know that the pack was here, and it's about to get destroyed completely. And I didn't do that on purpose. And if only you had kept your pack here, this wouldn't have happened. So this was just a very, very bad positioning, very, very bad positioning for the pack. But I don't know if you heard it, but just before the bomb started dropping, you could hear the sound of the flares, the red flares. They make a sound where they come down, and you could see it. And if you were listening for it, you could have avoided the death of your pack. Well, and the MG42 survived. Well, at least you got that out on time. But overall, this was very bad for Alex because the artillery was just too much, and once again he loses the infantry half track. This is, in my opinion, overall a losing engagement. Even though I most definitely lost plenty of troops here, I didn't lose anyone completely. Like no squads were wiped, and I forced him to retreat, and I now have all this empty space to capture all of this. I have an M8 about to come out, and he lost so many men, and many men wish death upon me. Sorry. It's kind of like, I'm not autistic, but it's kind of like I am sometimes when it comes to music. Anyway, he has to retreat all of this, he has to reinforce it all, and it gave me also enough time, a buffer pretty much, to capture everything here, as you can tell. And I'm about to capture this too, so I'm gonna have all of this territory is gonna be mine. So yeah. Also, I'm kind of freaked out. I don't know if you can tell, this is a bit fucked up, but so the MG42's position is right here. First of all, this is a very poor position because these obstructions, this wall, for example, it's a real wall in the game, and he can't shoot through it. The reason he's not opening fire on me is because he can't shoot through the wall. So it should be here, the MG42, or even a better location is here, behind this concrete, actually brick wall, because it provides great protection. But anyway, the two other MG42 crewmen, the gunners, so to say, which serve to protect the MG42 to replace the barrels when they get too hot and to reload it, they are usually supposed to be very close to this guy. For some reason, the game made them... I know that Alex didn't do this by himself on purpose. The game made them go all the way out here. I have never seen this in my life. They're not supposed to be this far away. This is insane. But anyway, because of his MG42's poor positioning, he is not putting down pressure on these guys, and they're about to cap everything. And when he finally decides to move, when he realizes that he's positioned it so poorly, when he finally decides to move, he's going to be met by an armored car. So that's unlucky. We see he's moving it up right now, and I'm gonna just evacuate these two guys. I'm gonna get them the hell out of there. And these two guys also, I don't want to risk anyone in this firefight. Like, I do not care. Like, I'm very, very afraid of losing veterancy squads, so I'm just retreating them. And he's also retreating these guys. I don't know why he didn't use the Panzerschreck. I have to wait. Let me check his... He has more than enough munitions to use the Panzerschreck on the armor car, and he's not using his company points for some reason either. I don't know, Alex. It's kind of... Are you doing it on purpose? It's like a personal challenge to you or something? I don't know. But anyway, at this stage in the game, I was fearing that he would do to me what I did to him. He would realize that this side is now lost for him, so he would just try to attack. He would send a mass of forces on this side, and this here throughout the center as well. So I decided to build a bunker here, which would cover this angle of attack here. And therefore he couldn't flank me, so he could either just attack me through here or all the way here, but essentially I would block infantry from moving through the middle. I'm about to build that bunker, and it's going to be a huge waste of resources. Well, not a huge, but it's going to be a waste of resources because he's never going to attack me here. This bunker is not going to fire a single shot until the end of the game. Now, Alex, I don't know what kind of strategy you're trying, but you need to attack this point here, and this point here. And especially these 2 points here. But for some reason, you just like devoted all of your units to this attack point here, and you also now have your... And I can't believe I'm saying this. This is your third half track in the game. Why do you think that if your first 2 half tracks died, why do you think that the first one is going to be a success? It's clearly time to tech up to tanks or something. Definitely not half-track time. But anyway, that was his strategy. At this point, I felt pretty comfortable with my engineers taking this point because I knew they had the protection of the machine gun if he tried to attack. So I felt pretty comfortable doing that. These guys are immediately suppressed because obviously they're being attacked by two different machine guns, but I wasn't that worried about it. I knew the M8 was here. The M8 would destroy the machine guns, obviously. That was pretty obvious would happen. The M8 was also a great weapon against the half-track. And he had the Spencer Shrek Grenadier squad, but once again, I wasn't too worried about it because I knew that I could just repair it with my engineers. And I'm going to gain so much veterancy from this single engagement, like you're not gonna believe. And now it's immobilized, and it's drifting. Of course, I don't know if you saw it, but it literally just now drifted. So much veterancy. And now they have to fix it. And at this point in the game, my main priority became, I kind of felt like I was winning. I mean, I certainly was on victory points. My main priority felt like I should build a howitzer, an on-map howitzer, so I can control these 3 victory points. That's number one. And secondly, because I noticed that he liked to do this a lot, right? He liked to group his units a lot. And I thought if I can get a howitzer on the field, one good howitzer shot is going to end this game. Basically, that's what I felt like. And also, now he's doing this, but this is a small pioneer squad that can easily be killed. Definitely should have sent more units there. So yeah. As you can tell, I'm building this, and as soon as I'm done, I'm going to try to kill everyone here, and you're going to see what's going to happen. As you can tell here, the M8 killed everything there. And the howitzer is going to take its first shot, and I think it's a beautiful shot. And to just depict how beautiful it is, how we're going to... I think this might be the best angle. I'm just going to put it... I'm just going to put it here. I'm gonna put it in slow-mo so you can see it as it falls down. And that is GG. Because as I said just like a minute or two ago, I noticed that he has a tendency to group up all of his units, his infantry units and armored units, lightly armored units, whatever. And that makes you a very good target for artillery. And that's pretty much exemplified perfectly here. Do not group your units that tightly. It's okay if you do it for like 20 seconds and you disperse, but he kept doing it throughout the entire game. And this is kind of what you get. Obviously he dropped, he lost, I'm pretty sure he lost everything. So pretty much everything you see of his on the screen, these, one Pioneer, one False Grenadier, and these 2 Grenadiers. That's pretty much all he has remaining, and he's losing very much by territory and infantry points, and there was just no point in trying to continue because, as you can tell, because he has nothing to defend himself with, and I would have just kept all of this territory within like less than a minute, and it would have been GG either way. And that's it, basically. So something that, maybe some constructive criticism here, what could I say? Alex, you did not use your munitions right. You have 160 munitions. You could have Panzer Schrecked this armored car and destroyed it here. When your Panzer Schreck Grenadiers attacked, I think he was, I don't know what he was holding out for, honestly. He had so much manpower. You were floating way too much manpower. You were floating way too much, I don't know if it's much munitions or many munitions. I think it's too many munitions because munitions are a noun that's countable. So it's too many munitions. Um, you didn't use them to help destroy the armored car, which was a critical player in this game. You could have done it to help your Panzerschreck Grenadiers. You were kind of too one-dimensional. You kept fighting over this area all the freaking game. If I remember correctly, he only capped these spots, this spot here, once in the entire game. And he recapped this once after capping it for the first time. He did not try to, well, after I would cap things, he didn't try to recap them. He just kept pushing forward here, and at some point I became quite comfortable just moving a single engineer squad everywhere around because I knew that I would be uncontested, So that's pretty bad. You kind of have to be on many fronts at the same time. You also need to keep listening, listen out, or listen up, should I rather say, for artillery being ordered, a call for fire being ordered on your guys. Those are some of it. This was a pretty noobish game, and I was very, very surprised. And I'm not trying to like talk shit about anyone, but I was very much surprised to find that Alex actually has more than 20,000 games, and that he has literally more than 20,000, 20 times more experience than I do. So I was kind of weirded out by that. He should have been much more comfortable playing against me, but it is what it is. Anyways, guys, that's it for this video. As soon as I stop recording, I'm gonna go play a game with my friend. So I'm not gonna edit this and post it until tomorrow. And anyway, I'll probably be posting more sometimes this week. Just maybe not in the next day or two because I'll probably be super busy with work. Anyway, guys, that's it. See you next time.